Hello, today I am here with actress extraordinaire Keesha Sharp. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. It's a nice day outside. It's good. I'm doing very good.
That's good, that's great. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Keesha Sharp. I graduated from the Boston Conservatory many years ago. I've been an actor, director, producer, writer, and I'm married. I have a son. I've been in this business for a very long time. I love what I do. I love being an artist and a musician, and that's a little bit about me.
That's great, that's great. So, what initially drew you to the Boston Conservatory in the first place?
Okay. So I've always been an artist. I played three instruments growing up, cello, piano, and clarinet. I did a lot of theater in grammar school, middle school, and high school. So I always knew that I wanted to go to a theater school. I knew that. And so back in the day, we didn't have computers like you guys have. We didn't have smartphones. So we would go to our counselor's office and there were books. They just had books with schools. And so I went in. There was two schools that I was interested in, both of which I got in. But the reason I chose the Boston Conservatory is because I loved their pictures. I loved the brownstones. I'm just being honest. And again, these were the top theater schools that I applied to. So that was important, obviously. So the conservatory and the other school that I applied for were the top schools for theater. But I chose Boston Conservatory because I loved the brownstones. I loved Boston, just the pictures of Boston. And that's why I chose it. And it's funny because when I got in and my little brother was born 2 days before I left for college. So my dad, yeah, crazy. So my dad and my brother, my older brother, drove me to the Boston Conservatory. But because of that year, that freshman year, they had a little more students than they had accommodations for. So it was the first year. This is before Berklee and the conservatory combined,
Hmm.
but it was the first time that some of us stayed at Berklee. So I had the experience. It's crazy. So my freshman year, I actually stayed in the Berklee dorms. So I didn't get the brownstones, which is hilarious. But anyway, yeah, that's what drew me to it. The beauty of it. I love that.
Yeah, that is totally understandable. It is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
So, how would you describe your overall experience? And were there like any notable teachers or moments?
Oh wow. Yeah, my overall experience was it was wonderful. It's those years to me are some not the best years because we don't want to say the best years, but it was great years for me. I It's the first time I was on my own and really learning about who I was as an artist, as a person, and really being on your own. And who are you on your own without your parents saying you can and can't do something?
Yep.
It's a great experience to start that kind of adulthood, that coming of age type thing. So it was a wonderful experience for me. Some of my best friends are still my best friends today. One is my writing partner, and we have so many projects that we're pitching to networks. So it was a great experience. And the second part of the question was,
Like, were there any notable
oh,
teachers or moments?
oh yeah. So Fran Charnas was my musical theater teacher for my sophomore and junior year. I think that was a great experience for me because it was the first time we had to stand up and sing. We had to work on the same song for half a year. Each time it was one song. And each song we had to do in the 20s, the 40s, the 50s styles, and then in a modern style. So it was really just I felt like I learned so much in that class. It was very, very good. And Erica Baddorf, who is a movement teacher, who finding stories, how do you tell a story through movement? It was a great class and it really taught you about your body and yourself as an artist on a different level than what we learn otherwise. Also, I worked professionally outside of school my junior and senior year. So I did seven guitars before I went to Broadway, as it was going to Broadway with Viola Davis, with Keith David, with Ruben Santiago. So I was understudying in that, and I didn't go with the show because I wanted to finish school. That was one of the best experiences. And August Wilson, it was just a great experience, notable for me. I will always remember that during that time. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So how did you go about finding a community at the conservatory?
Oh, well, first of all, let me just say, in terms of community, as artists, I feel like we are a community. There's nothing like putting together a group of artists. It feels like you find your family, leaving from, a normal high school and going to some place where it's all artists together who are, we're usually as artists, we're sensitive people,
Yep.
we're loving people, we're accepting people. So that part of the community I felt was there. It was the conservatory. I found them once I went to school. But there's also the other time as a Black woman, finding your community as other people that have gone through some of the things you have gone through and continue to go through, because it is Boston. So there is a part of Boston that I hope is better, than when I was there in terms of race issues. So, but my roommate was from Barbados. Her name's Dawn Lisa, very good, still one of my great friends today. And it was interesting because her upbringing was completely different from mine. She was from the islands, and we had different experiences as Black women, but learning about each other through our friendship was beautiful. And then also, walking on the street, no one knows that she's from Boston or she's from Barbados and I'm from New York, and we're Black women. So we're dealing with some racism, let's just call it what it is. But being together and able to support each other through that. And even when we went to school, there wasn't a lot of Black students at the conservatory at the time, but I never felt, maybe it's because of the community of what I was talking about as artists, but I never felt any kind of racism when I was in school. Out of school, we're talking about something different, but inside school, I didn't feel that at all. Everything was so, no one said I couldn't audition for that or be in that show because I was Black. We did this show called On the Razzle, which is the play version of Hello Dolly, and I played the Hello Dolly character. No one thought, oh, she's Black, she can't play that. It just never was an issue when I was there, and I hope that's still the case at the conservatory, that it still looks at things and is inclusive, because that's how it was when I was there. Yeah, so I found my community through the artists, and then I also, thank God, I had my roommate, and we had each other.
Yeah. So, do you think that the conservatory successfully prepared you for the real world, and how so?
I do. And again, for theater, right? And I used a lot of those theater things later on, but I learned, first of all, we had showcases where we had casting directors come in and give their opinions. This is before we graduated. So you would learn, hey, that doesn't work. This works. This is what you should do. What's your book look like? Oh, you need to improve your book or whatever, all those things. So when I went out and started auditioning, I felt very prepared because I had been in front of my class, which is some of the hardest things to do, to be in front of your peers. And every week, almost every day performing, if you can manage that, get in front of strangers, you're like, listen, this is so easy. So I felt very prepared for auditioning. I felt very prepared for my music. I chose my book was because I had great teachers teaching me, these are the songs you should sing. These are great songs for you. So when I would walk in, they could pick anything from my book and I would be prepared and ready for. I felt I was very prepared for auditions, therefore prepared for the real world. That being said, I hope, because it's a different time, we had, again, you guys have computers, you have smartphones, you have all these wonderful tools that I hope you're using in terms of writing, in terms of shooting your own stuff, creating your own stuff. I think it's vital for artists to not just do one thing, that you're prepared for many things. That has helped me in my career.
That's great to hear. I personally feel like the school is doing a good job of doing that for me. So
Good,
I'm
good.
really, really excited to see where the future takes me.
Yeah, I
Hopefully,
love
I end
that.
up just like you, and we shall
Yes,
see.
that's right.
So, what are some projects that you're currently working on?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I spent last year directing. So another advice I would give, and I think you may ask this later, but I've been directing this past year. So in 2021, I decided not to act much. I did act some because there's a movie, I'll tell you about that. But so I decided to direct last year, and I love that I did that. I love directing. It's so much work, but it's so rewarding. And you just, as an actor, as an artist, when you can direct, you see the world in its entirety. When we're talking about the world, we're talking about whatever the piece is. If it's a film, if it's a theater piece, if it's a play, you're able to really hone in. And so as an actor, it makes you even better as an actor when you become a director. So I directed Black Lightning, Last
Oh.
G, Our Kind of People, Charmed. And I was supposed to do Superman and Lois, but now I'm doing because I booked this. I'm acting now, so I'm now doing Ghost Power Book 2 is the show that I'm shooting now in New York. I'm in New York for 6 months. I live in LA, but I'm here for 6 months, so I'm doing that, and yeah, that's what I'm currently doing. Just finished editing my Charmed episode that I'm really excited about as well.
And I'm excited to see it.
Yes.
I'm so excited. So on that note, and you did bring it up, do you have any advice for current students or future students?
Oh, what I would say is, oh, college years are so great. So really, really sit in enjoying and absorbing all you can while you're in college. It's such a great time. You don't have all the responsibilities of life in terms of a husband. Maybe you do, maybe people do, a husband, a wife, children. But it's a really great time to really use school. Take as many classes as you can, improve yourself, forget about being embarrassed by if you think someone else is more talented than you, or they have a better voice, or they can act better. I'm telling you, a lot of times that just does not matter. What matters is how you present yourself, right? Someone can be a better singer, but it doesn't matter if you're out there and you have what's the word I'm looking for? Gosh, my brain is going like this. You have belief in yourself. It will read in a room. You walk in a room and say you heard somebody. This will happen a lot. You go to an audition in the city, in New York City, and you hear somebody in before you, and they sound so amazing. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't. That's not my voice, or they sound better. You're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble because you're gonna always think somebody sounds better. You're gonna always think that. What you have to know is, like, no one sounds like me. I am unique. No one has my voice. No one has my look. No one has what I exude out to the casting directors. I'm very unique, and uniqueness will always pay off. But you have to believe in yourself. That is a must. And I would say that use as much of the resources that you have in college to really hone in on all of your gifts, and don't just think you're one thing. I would never be directing or be in television and film if I thought I'm just a theater performer. That's all I do. If I thought that about myself, I would never be where I am. Or if I think, oh, I can't write, I'm not a writer, I would never be selling scripts to networks. You have to really believe that you can do it all. And you have to be honest too. It's like, okay, well, I'm a legit singer, and I'm not. So you say I'm a legit singer. I'm not really a gospel singer or a pop singer. Um, so let me make this the best it can be. Let me make my legit voice the top that it can be. And then I would guarantee you that you can do pop and you can do gospel. You just have to believe in yourself, but hone in on what you do really well, but also leave the door open for those things that you think you need to improve. I think that's important as well.
Oh, thank you for dropping those gems. I will definitely be taking note.
Oh, good. I love that.
And so, with that, I'd like to once again thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And may you have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you. You too. You too, honey.
All right.